Donald Trump has revoked the Equal Rights Employment Opportunity. Hey, this act literally outlawed discrimination in hiring when it comes to race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. So when y'all say he's good for the economy for who? This man is setting us back in time. So when we ask, what part of America were we so great that you want to get back to? Apparently, before 1965, when employers had the right to discriminate against anybody they wanted to. On the internet, I've been chastised by conservatives for being stuck in the past for the past 5 years. Just for this man to get back in office and make legislation that sets us back in the past years, it sounds like y'all been projecting. You're obsessed with the past. You're stuck in the past. So the same folks that call us lazy for saying it's hard to get a job has now passed a policy that makes it harder to get a job, huh? Because what does it mean to revoke a policy that said discrimination was bad? I can see it now. Here come the shallow free thinkers in my comment section talking about, man, it's pretty clever that he did this though because it was helping us anyway. Man, shut up. They claim they're on radical change though, right? But if you revoke a policy that's been the law of the land for over 50 years, 60 years, how is that not radical change? Education is elevation, and I'm not telling you this to be outraged. I'm telling you this so you can be aware.
So Trump got rid of the Equal Employment Act. I'm looking for all the people that voted for him.
That's bad. This is a bad idea.
I'm going to be very short and very to the point. To the white people watching this, and especially to the white people that know me in the real world, my friends, okay? Today, Trump did away with the Equal Employment Opportunity Act. You know the history of that, and you know why it had to be implemented in the first place. So when you went in that booth, if you cast your vote for Donald Trump, we're done. If you didn't hear me the other times I've said it, I just want to reiterate it now. You cannot vote for somebody that takes away the Equal Employment Opportunity Act, knowing the history behind it and why it had to be put in place. You can't cast your vote for him and look at me and tell me that you love me. You're done. And I mean that for life. Unfucking believable. They try to paint it as this saving grace for civil rights when really they just want to fill the federal government with all of their selected employees that are loyalists no matter what. So even after the 4 years that Donald Trump is done, even if another MAGA loyalist or Republican takes the presidency, they still have to go through all of this bullshit because now you got only MAGA federal employees. No diversity, no inclusion. Talking about some fucking based off merit. We know what it has to be based off. Did you bend the knee to Donald Trump? Cool. You now have a job in the federal government. We fired everybody else. You knew what you were voting for. Donald Trump knows he cannot run again. If you think they're doing all this shit just to disappear in 4 years, they're setting it up for the long game. They're setting it up for the fucking long game. So now if I go in and I want to get a loan for a home, if I want to get a business loan, I guarantee you it's going to be so much easier for the white man who they love and select to get a loan than it is for me to start my business. Fast forward into the next generation, my bloodline is now affected because I couldn't start my business as soon as this guy could because he's white and he got the loan. It's an example, but do you see how shit like this affects generation after generation after generation? We get robbed of opportunities because of your selfish ass vote. Did he sign an executive order for price gouging? Did he sign a fucking executive order for these grocery stores to stop looking at you with no fucking money and increasing the prices anyway? That's what he told y'all. Where's the executive order for that? Oh, well, it's a process and it's complicated. It can't, excuses. Like it always fucking is from y'all. Done, dude. Out my fucking face, man. Think about how big of a fucking pussy you have to be, man. You don't want anybody criticizing you or speaking out against your ideology, so you try to suppress the flow of information and social media because you're a strong leader, but you can't take fucking criticism. And then on top of that, when you lose or when your people lose, you blame it on fucking DEI and the corrupt government. Because the guy who you fucking lost to is not fucking white, but he's also more qualified than you. You can't fucking wrap your head around that. You have fucking terminal, incurable hatred in your heart. And it's genuinely not until recently I had to accept that even those type of people can fucking exist. I cannot control your existence, but I can control your access to my fucking life, bro. Out of here.
Negro, please. Didn't somebody tell you this was an all-white party? Huh? Someone get this jigaboo away.
So in his infinite wisdom, Donald Trump just revoked Executive Order 11246, which was initiated back in 1965. That being the Equal Employment Opportunity Act, which was previously put into place to both promote opportunities for and protect women, ethnic minorities, LGBTQ plus people, and others traditionally underrepresented groups within society. It also prohibited discrimination in the workplace based on race, national origin, sex, religion, age, disability, and marital or familial status. And ever since its formation 60 years ago, supporters have continually argued that the program is vital in order to address the long-standing inequities and structural racism in the United States. It was signed in by President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1965 as a means of protecting the rights of federal contracted employees, ensuring they remain free from discrimination. It didn't say you have to hire people that aren't qualified. It just said you can't not hire someone for being these things. And Donald Trump got rid of it. Why? Because it's DEI from 60 years ago. You remember how not long ago the Supreme Court ended affirmative action in college admissions? This act has something in common with affirmative action, wherein who benefits from it the most? Do you know what group benefited the most from affirmative action and from that Equal Employment Opportunities Act? You know what singular group? Most people say black people. That's usually the go-to response. That is not accurate. Now, that group would be women, specifically white women. Experts say that the women we see in positions of power today, especially like CEOs in large corporations, can be directly attributed to stuff like the Equal Employment Opportunity Act. White women, the same demographic that 69% of cast their vote for Donald Trump in the last election. You voted against your own self-interest, and the whole lack of bodily autonomy thing should have been the thing that made that clear. But just in case that went over your head, here is this. If you have daughters, you just made their life a little bit harder. Slugs voting for salt. Enjoy the next 4 years.
The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission exists because of the Civil Rights Act. Its job is to enforce workplace protections evenly, not selectively, not politically, evenly. Right now, that is not what is happening. Under its current chair, Andrea Lucas, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is openly reframing how civil rights enforcement works in America. She has publicly solicited discrimination claims from white men tied to DEI programs while at the same time dismissing or refusing to pursue cases involving transgender workers, workers with criminal records, and other historically protected under civil rights law. So as a nurse, this matters because workplace protections are only as strong as the agency enforcing them. The Civil Rights Act does not allow the EEOC to pick and choose who deserves protection based on ideology. It requires equal enforcement across race, sex, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, and gender identity. When an agency selectively enforces the law, that is not neutrality. That is active discrimination. This is how it works in practice. By rescinding harassment guidance, dropping cases tied to gender identity, and abandoning disparate impact enforcement, the EEOC is allowing discriminatory practices to continue unchecked for certain groups. Not because the law changed, but because enforcement priorities did. Discrimination does not always look like inaction. Sometimes it looks like refusal to investigate, refusal to litigate, refusal to protect. That is discrimination by omission. An agency charged with enforcing civil rights cannot redefine equality based on political loyalty without violating the purpose of the Civil Rights Act itself. Equal treatment under the law does not mean equal silence when harm occurs. So for healthcare workers, nurses, and basically anyone that's reporting workplace discrimination, this shift sends a dangerous message. Some complaints will be welcome, others will be ignored. Civil rights laws only work when they are enforced for everyone. Selective enforcement is discrimination, even when it is dressed up as policy reform.
Other lawyers on TikTok and other places have already shared this information, but just in case you haven't seen it, even though Donald Trump revoked President Johnson's equal employment opportunity executive order, doesn't mean that he repealed the law that put in place Equal Employment Opportunity Act, which is a legislation by Congress. A president cannot repeal an act of Congress by executive order. Remember when Donald Trump recently tried to repeal the act that banned TikTok, and he lost. He did not. He cannot. TikTok technically is still banned in the Apple Store because that law passed by Congress is still law. The only way that it can formally come back is if Congress creates a law to reverse itself or to lift the ban. The law is still the law. The Equal Employment Opportunity Act, Title VII, all of the laws and all the structures that came under that law remain in effect today. Donald Trump's just doing what he can do, and it's bombastic. He's great at marketing, and all of this coming rapid fire is just scaring people. And again, like I've said in previous videos, he did all of these things for the most part last time, minus like forcing people to go to work, because that was an issue last time. But all of the things he did this week, he did last time. I kid you not, you can look it up, every single thing. So people say, well, he's doing all this stuff. How can he do it in the balance of laws? Like, he's just doing what he can. And because people don't know, he's counting on the fact that folks don't know the truth. For example, a lot of people don't know that he did not save TikTok. Like, he's right now still scrambling, asking businesses to help him save TikTok. But the idea of him saving TikTok, he had enough media organizations to just go with it. And that's the issue. And that's why people have a problem trusting mainstream media, because they're saying, oh, Donald Trump repealed the equal employment laws and civil rights laws, and he did not. He cannot. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, all those laws stay in effect. They still impact. He did not remove them one bit. So again, stay tuned to this account. Follow this along. I'm going to try to be the voice of reason to help you realize that a lot of the things that he said he's doing, he really can't do. But he's great in marketing, putting a lot of things, because he knows going to pick up the headlines, and he knows he can scare you guys. So he's purposefully creating fear and anxiety and stress amongst the American populace with these approaches, with these things, knowing that the media is going to pick it up. So you need a source of place where you're like, you know what, I see that, but I'm going to go check with my girl JJ, because she's going to tell me the truth. I'm here for you. Keep scrolling. Follow along. Share this video with other people.
Am I talking too fast for you or something? You hear me? I reckon you get up out of here, huh, boy? You boys ain't supposed to be around.
I see a lot of y'all confused about the Equal Opportunity Employment Act and Donald Trump pretty much chopping that shit and nipping it in the bud. Let me tell you what's going on, like what's gonna happen with this shit. It's a lot of people thinking that by him doing this, it's gonna make it easier for minorities to get jobs, because they're removing the section where you have to apply and select whatever the selection of whatever your race or minority is. But that's not even what it is. Him saying you have to select solely off of merit leaves it fully based off the company and the CEO and what they want to do and who they want to hire. So pretty much they can say, bet, you running with us and you behind us, right or wrong, we're going to hire you. It's pretty much just a play for him to stay in office. He know exactly what he doing. A lot of y'all frustrated and y'all tripping because y'all think it's going to affect you at a lower level. And really, it's not finna affect you that much. Like, most CEOs and most companies are not just going to go to full outright racism. They're not, unless they want to be canceled fully as a company. But what is going to happen is certain CEOs and certain people that's high up on the corporate ladder, whether it be managers, district managers, whatever it may happen to be, are going to get a pass. They're going to get a pass for the shit that they do. So it's pretty much going to be the same shit that's going on, except it's just helping the people that's in power. That's all it's about. That's all the Republicans care about at the end of the day. Money. Money when it comes to everything. So all in all, yes, those same racist systems that's in play are pretty much still in play regardless of what he did. It's not necessarily worse or better for the average person, but it's probably going to make it higher for you to climb the corporate ladder.
depending on what your employment is. So look at how do you want, but neither party gives a fuck about either of us, whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans. So it's like you picking between the lesser two evils. Until we finally get it through our thick ass skull that we need to create our own party, we're gonna keep getting slapped in the fucking face.
Hey man, he rolling back. He's rolling back. We know what this is, man. I want to know, like, the black and Hispanic people that voted for this. Where they at now? I want to know what's your thoughts on this. I want to know what's your thoughts. Because he's going out of his way to take us back. He's already set us back 200 years. Already. Just with the things he's undone. Okay? Hold on. Hold on. This guy right here, his take, I want to speak on an experience of mine.
You know the history of that? Opportunity Act.
Right.
Knowing history behind it and why it had to be put in place. You can't cast your vote for him. Look at me and tell me that you love me.
That is abuse, bro. Yeah, that is abuse. To have... Okay, I'm going to speak from experience, okay? I keep saying I'm going to upload this story. It's on a channel that I had started like a year ago, and it didn't get no views. I didn't migrate the video over. But anyway, in my profession, I pretty much helped these two individuals that were baby boomers, white individuals, okay? Work with the whole family, all right? Understand what I'm saying clearly. I want you to hear me clearly. I didn't work for them, okay? In my profession, I helped them out. I'll just say that, and you can draw together whatever pieces. And I'm not a health aide or a CNA or nothing like that, all right? I own my own business. But anyway, didn't really know they were right-leaning up until like 2019. That's when I really saw like the ugliness start to show, and you know that they were really like diehard like Trump people. And as I said before, I didn't really care about, you know, politics and all of that crazy stuff. I didn't really care about none of that. And I was one of those people that up until 2020, I didn't vote. I didn't anything, right? I was one of those people like, oh, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me. I don't really care. My vote doesn't matter. I live in a blue state anyway, so it's not going to count. Well, on a personal level, it did. All right. They started, you know, being very aggressive, you know, like passive aggressive. Sorry. They started being very passive aggressive about a lot of things, you know, and I'm like, damn, I mean, these are the same people that, you know, they're my day ones, you know, like we like family. She called me her son. They look at me as their other, you know what I'm saying, their other son. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say other son because obviously I'm black. You know, they look at me as their other son. You know, my kids like them. You know, they consider my kids, grandkids, everything. It's amazing. But every time this politics shit come around, anytime they want to, you know, they conveniently bring it up and things like that, they would change into different people. And me, being the person I was at the time, I'm no longer that person. I was just trying to be very passive about it, you know, like change the subject, not direct, very, very, I wouldn't say, you can say ducking it. I would call it just trying to avoid conflict because I knew I disagreed with them. You know what I'm saying? And it has nothing to do with the work that I'm doing, so it doesn't matter, you know? But to them, that shit is number one. Religion isn't number one to these kind of people. Morals is the number one to these kind of people. Politics is. And that's what you need to understand. That's what I found out that day, when everything finally got to a point and I had to cut them off, right? But the fact that you went out and voted against everything that I'm fighting for me and my family, and you have the audacity to sit in my face and say you care about me, but you're doing everything to hurt me, that's called abuse. Nah. So I feel what, bro is saying, and I'm learning right now, you can't have a mutual relationship with people on that aisle. You can't. They're brainwashed. You cannot help them. They don't deserve the help at this point. You're being willfully ignorant and hateful. So this guy going, Trump going out of his way to repeal the Equal Employment Opportunity Act is based in what? Nothing but racism. But I'm supposed to believe you give a shit about me and the generation behind me, but you're going and you're getting rid of equal opportunity employment. Nobody that's not qualified has ever gotten a job over someone that was, unless they were white and they weren't qualified. Like that's a fact. So us black people, we can, us black people that's actually awake can really see what's going on right now. All right, people like them, like this brother was talking about. For him and look at me and tell me that you love me. You can't. That is abuse, literally. There are people in abusive relationships where, oh, he loves me so much, she loves me so much, but they won't stop putting their hands on you, ever. Or they're still doing the things that hurt you, even though they tell you they love you. It's abuse. So for this guy to go out of his way when there's a million other things to do, like, actually lowering the grocery prices like he said he would, decrease inflation like he said he would, he owes every American $2,000 from the tariffs. Ain't getting that, right? Because y'all dummies fell for that too. And also $5,000 for each person for, I forget exactly what, but Trump in the hole for $7,000 for every American. But he worried about repealing this act in a position that he's never had to fight for because he's always been wealthy anyway. He's never had to compete for a job. He cheats at golf. Literally. Go YouTube some of the videos. He cheats at golf. He cheats at everything. He's a serial cheater. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. Leave your comments below. I think last year around this time he did the same thing. Obviously, when he cuts some things, they have checks and balances it has to go through. And then I think it has to meet at a state level or something like that. But the fact that he's even pinpointing his effort to that, knowing he's probably not going to be here and the current person behind him is going to make it even harder for us, I can't rock with nobody that voted for this man. I can't. And stop thinking y'all included and need to be included and inclusive to people that didn't vote for him. We don't like y'all. We don't want to be around y'all. We want nothing to do with y'all. We benefit nothing from being around y'all. That's just the honest truth. Ayo Bassel TV. Like, comment, share. I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Peace.